Hey there, Fletcher from All Things Overlanding here, and today I'm pretty excited because I'm going to be talking about a few items from a company that I've actually had some of their products for over 5 years now. And they've been really great, and I've used them in a number of scenarios. And so today I've got a few new pieces of gear from Cat that I want to show you guys. I'm just going to make one big massive video of their chair, their easy up pop-up tent, which reminds me a lot of my old Coleman tent from back in the day, and I love how quick and easy it is to set up, and then also a tent cot. So just different sort of options for camping. So if you want to hear more about the Cat chair, easy up tent, and cot tent, stay tuned.
Understand where it came from, but you got it, my got it. It began in the land of the sandstorm. I fought it, though I wanted everything to do with what you give to me. Loosening my grip.
All right, guys, so first I'm going to start with their folding chair. This is kind of a Helinox style chair, right, with the metal pole legs and the fabric that you just sort of string between the poles. And as you can see, this thing is tiny, and I'm really a big fan of that. I love things that take up less space because as overlanders, we've always got more and more and more gear that we have to store. So having something that is this small is really handy. It's got some grab handles on each end here of the bag. The bag itself seems to be really well made and is made of a heavy material, so I think it'll hold up for a long time. So now I'm gonna go over here and I'm actually just gonna set this up. So with all this gear, I'm gonna just do sort of like first impression setup type stuff to show you it in action, show you how easy or hard it is to set this stuff up, and just give you a good idea of what this gear is like in someone's hands. So let's move over here to a flat spot and I'll open up this chair for you and show you what it looks like. All right, guys, so let's start with this chair. So let's take everything out of the bag. Here is your seat material. Seems pretty heavy duty. Seems really similar to a lot of the chairs that I've had before, but heavier sort of canvas. There are some that you get that just feel really cheap and really thin. This feels heavier duty a little bit, so that's kind of nice. Now these legs, I like that they have these sort of little black plastic pieces on the end because in a lot of these chairs, they're really fine tips and you just sink constantly into the ground. So I like that they took that extra step. I will say, let me move closer to you here. I really like what they did here with, they've got sort of these like braces. So this thing is clearly made of like aluminum from what I can tell, but then where these legs go in, they're actually pretty heavy duty. Like you see how these are going together, but they've got kind of like bracing in them. So I'm just going to keep putting this together so you can kind of see it. But so like they've got these little metal like strengtheners or braces, these end caps on them basically that stop the pole from sliding too far in. And the bungee cord on them is really strong, so they actually do kind of snap in place a lot like my Helinox chair. Now one thing I will point out right away that I noticed is this thing's going to be pretty low, which isn't the case with a lot of these, but I know that I've got some friends that say, man, I don't like to be that low to the ground. This is going to be like a backpacking style chair, right? So it is going to be really low to the ground. But what I like about it, again, is how small it is. The small size is great for packing down. So like sometimes you may not want a huge chair, unless if you're on like a long overlanding trip and you want something super comfortable, this may not be the best option for you. But if you're a backpacker or a hiker or something, you just want something that's well constructed and is going to be comfortable, then this could be a great option for you. Now I'm a bigger guy, I'm about 230, 6'2". This thing feels really stable. Now it is not a high rise, so it goes up to about the middle of my back. But I mean, it's really stable. Like it doesn't move at all. It feels really good. And again, I've had a number of these chairs. I've had like the G4 free chairs, but they just feel really loosey-goosey, right? They feel really wobbly. I will say I'm very impressed with this chair. Again, would it be my go-to for like long overlanding trips? Probably not. I mean, you could probably sink down like this quite a ways and make it not so bad. Like it does have good support in the back and stuff. But again, if you're backpacking or, you know, like if I bring my kids with me and I want just like something that doesn't take up a ton of room that I can keep in my drawer system or in my truck so that I've got it for them, chairs like these would be great. If I had 2 or 3 of these, plus for the budget price that they are, you could pick up 2 or 3 of them for not a lot of money, which is really nice. So, I mean, overall, I'm really impressed with this thing. I actually kind of thought this might be kind of chintzy, but it's not. It's really, really nice. So good job, Cat. This is great. So just a couple of really quick facts about this chair. It weighs 2.2 pounds and it'll support up to 330 pounds. So it's made of aircraft grade aluminum, which is awesome. And as I mentioned, I mean, again, there's so many of these that are just really cheap, right? And they're just, you can tell it, like they don't have this sort of like bolstering for the legs in here. and they just don't feel as good as this. And again, I know that you're just watching me on a video here, but I can tell you after sitting in probably 10 of these different styles of chairs, this is the strongest, most stable, sturdy chair that I've felt that's a small, low back chair like this. Like they're usually much more loosey-goosey than this. So I'm a big fan of this chair, especially for the money, and especially if you're looking for something just to like throw out at a soccer game, or something to throw your kids into, or if you're a backpacker, again, you need to keep it just really lightweight and small footprint, or you don't have a lot of room. Say that you drive a Jeep TJ or something and you don't have a ton of room in your vehicle, you could get 4 of these in the place of 2, you know, Walmart style folding chairs. And these things feel 1,000 times better than those crappy, cheap Walmart style chairs that you can get. So very impressed with this chair for the money. All right, so next up we have got the Instant Up pop-up tent. These things I've used quite a bit. I've had 2 that are similar to this that Coleman makes, and I love them because all you have to do is basically think of like a laundry hamper or laundry bin, one of those that fold flat that's like the metal rings with fabric, and you can just collapse them straight down and you pop them right up and you got a laundry bin. It's the same idea with this but with a tent. So basically, let's start with some dimensions. This is about 28 inches across and it's less than 3 inches thick when folded. So just so you know, if you're looking to pack this down somewhere, hopefully that helps. On the back here, kind of cool, they've got a couple of straps, and those are meant to be used as like backpack straps. So again, if you were hiking out somewhere, had to carry this somewhere, you can loosen these up, but you could use these for backpack straps. You could carry the thing on your back, which is a nice feature to have. It's got a couple handles on the top that make carrying it really easy if you don't want to carry it like a backpack. But again, let's pop this thing open and throw it up, and I'll show you what I mean by Instant Up. Now it does have some stakes in it that you could use to stake it down if it's windy. And it's also got some instructions for how to fold it up, which is important because these can be a little bit tricky, so we'll see how I do with it. But it does have sort of an elastic band here that goes across it that holds it together, and when you put it back together, you'll use that again. So once we tear it down, then we'll use that again. But watch this. Tent. That's the thing, is this is so easy that you can literally just throw it out and you have a tent. And I love that. So again, if you don't want to spend a ton of money, you don't want to go out and buy a really expensive like a Gazelle or something like that, and you just want something that's got a good amount of room in it, and it's so light that I'll turn around here, I'll throw the weight up on the screen because I don't know what it is off the top of my head. But you've got an awning here, and you can put this out, and it's got grommets and stuff. You could get a couple of sticks and you could make this into an awning if you wanted to, if it was raining, let's say. It's got the screen built in there, but I mean, you can see the space in there, right? Like there is a ton of space in this thing. Definitely for 2 people to sit side by side and sleep in it. You've got windows on both sides, you've got the door on this end, and then it's enclosed on the other end. So again, you don't have to worry about rain getting in or anything like that. It's got zippers that run down this, so you can zip it down, and then it's also got Velcro to hold the flaps in place to keep it waterproof. So I mean, a very simple, very straightforward pop-up style tent, right? But the fact that you've got windows on each side, again, for like Cub Scout campouts or things like that, for my kids when I bring them with me, if I don't have room in the rooftop tent, it's awesome to be able to take something like this, throw it out on the ground, throw them some air mattresses in here, and put their sleeping bags on it, and they're good to go. Super easy to pack up, super easy to pack down. So now you get to watch me struggle with packing it down. I've never done this before with this specific tent, and this is a little different than the Coleman's. So we're gonna see here. Okay, so just lay it on the ground once you've collected all of them. So take one hole and make it like a figure 8. Like this, maybe? You can see that. Okay, so now I've got one pull out here. It's like a figure 8. That's not a figure 8 though. Okay, so now I think I've got them into a circle, which I think is good. So now it says when you get them in a circle, that you put them on the ground and you fold them over, which should make another figure 8. This is what makes them so small, right? So then you take that, and then you fold it over again. So you're basically folding it into a figure 8 and then into another figure 8, and that's what makes it small enough that it'll fit in this tiny bag, which is a much smaller footprint. And look at that. The elastic strap is out there. So we're going to take that, wrap it around here to hold all the fabric in. I think I did it like my second try. It's not too bad. There is a helpful video, and I'll put a link. I'll try and find a link to it. But they have a video showing them doing this. I did not watch it. So I just figured it out on my second try. Look at that though. I mean, I'm telling you, I had way more problems with the Coleman than I did with this just now. Their instructions are actually not too bad. But again, for something that easy to set up, and you may have to practice the close down a little bit, right? Like it's one of those things that definitely is going to take a little bit of practice to get really good at. But once you get it, I mean, someone with a cabin tent would still be working on that thing. You know what I mean? So really, really cool, quick, easy up tent. It's got the couple of windows so you can't breathe it, you can vent it. It's summer right now, so like for right now that'd be perfect. No need to mess with like rain flies or anything like that, which I also like because that saves you time and makes things easier. You can just seal up your windows and you're waterproof and good to go. But so again, really easy to set up. It reminds me a lot of my hammock, just in tent form. All right, and then for the final sort of piece of gear that I mentioned, I've got the Cot Tent. And you're gonna see there is a bag that has the cot in it, and then there's a separate smaller bag that has the tent in it. So you do have two separate bags. And at first I was like, you know what? I don't know if I like that, because then I gotta bring two things, right? But they're smart, and there's a reason they did it. The reason is you may just want a cot, right? Like maybe I wanna use the 2-person pop-up tent, and I wanna use a cot in it, and I don't need a cot tent. So the fact that it's modular makes it actually really nice, because then you don't have to bring extra junk you don't need. You don't have to bring a bigger bag that has all that stuff in it when you're not going to use the tent for the cot tent. So I actually like that they did that. The bag for both of these is really nice. The cot one is slightly heavier, but it does have a carrying strap, and it's not bad. I mean, look, I'm holding it up with my thumb right now, one finger. It's got pull straps on each end, so it makes picking it up and throwing it in the back of your SUV or truck really easy. Now let's look at this. Again, I have not assembled this. The cot itself is supposed to be really, really cool. It is, compared to any of their competitors, it has more legs than them. It's more stable than theirs. So I'm really excited to see this thing in action. Because like most of their stuff, I imagine it's pretty easy to use. Okay, so I can already see how this is going to go together. This does remind me a lot of like my Helinox cot. So again, I guess most of these cots have 3 sets of legs. These have 4, which gives you more strength, right? So I think I learned this on another cot that I did. So these arrows, you need to match them up. And I like that they do that. That's actually really nice. So you want to make the arrows match. So you actually want to have like the bow in the middle and facing up. So it shouldn't be like this. It should be like this with the legs going up. So see, like this one here in my right hand is wrong. And when you look at it, you'll see that the arrows don't match up. So the arrow on the actual thing is there, but on the pole it's there. So that makes it way easier to then put them together and just line them up. So then you know exactly which way these legs are supposed to go. Which is really smart, and I like that they did that work to make that easier on us, because I can say a lot of the other cots I've used did not do that, and it was a pain in the butt, and I was very frustrated trying to put them together. Another thing to point out here that I really like is they've got these sort of like bungee cords on here. And the nice thing is you can just pull these legs out, but then they'll stay on the bars, so they're still there. So then when you're done with it, you can reuse those again to attach these up and make them stay together, basically, which will make it easier to store when I'm done with the cot. Okay, so if you have this cot and you're here because you want to see how to put it together, I'm figuring it out very quickly. And so I've got my 4 sort of legs put together, if you will. Now, again, they do mention in their instructions that they've got 2 different settings. So you've got a low setting, which is what it is right now, but then it's also got extra legs to get you higher up off the ground. So these are basically going to be each side of the cot. So we're going to assemble these into what are going to resemble like a bow staff. I'm not Donatello from the Ninja Turtles, but I liked Donatello from the Ninja Turtles. So we're going to put this thing together. Now we've got our 2 poles, right? Then I've got my fabric right here, and essentially what we're going to do, and there are the instructions. So it does come with instructions if you care to look at those. I just kind of went for it. But then what we're going to do is we're basically going to slide these poles into each side of the fabric. So I'm going to try and keep it off the ground because it's dusty. I don't want to get it all dirty. But so then you're just going to slide these down, these holes here, so when you do get to the other end of this thing. Another tip that I've learned with these kind of cots is sometimes it's easier to just set the pole up like that and then just slide it down from the top. But so then, like I mentioned, there is a stopper at the top there that will keep it from going any further. So the end that is open is where you want to put your poles in, and then the end that is closed is where you want your poles to terminate. So that is that. Now let's do the other pole here. So when you look at these, you're going to notice one side is just kind of a plain pole. The other side has this handle looking sort of thing on it. You actually squeeze these little metal buttons here, and then you pop this out. Then that gives you the flexibility that you need to then be able to clasp it back in and click it in place and put tension on this cot. So then, once you get it on there, then you basically just have to squeeze this down, and that will put tension on the cot. So now you can see just how taut that is, right? Which is what you want when you're going to sleep on a cot. If you have a saggy cot, it's not comfortable. It hurts your back. Another thing to point out here is there is another little bag in here, a little sub bag, and it has a bunch of these little legs in it. So these are the high-rise legs. So basically, when you have your sub legs, right? If you want to be low off the ground, this height right here, then you don't have to use these smaller legs. But then you're basically going to push those in, and again, there's 4. So 2 here, 2 down here, and you're going to have 4 little sub legs. So again, if you wanted to sleep up higher, more like a bed height, then you could attach all 16 of these legs, and you're good to go. And when you're done, just pop them out, take down your legs, take down your fabric, pull your 2 poles out, everything goes back in that bag, and you're all set. So I'm going to keep it at the low height. I'm going to go ahead and put these other 2 legs on here really quick. Then I'm going to put the Cot Tent together, and I'm going to show you that. All right, so in this smaller bag just comes this one little bundle with a little tie around it. We do have stakes and stuff if we need them. We've also got some poles, which will provide support for the tent. Now these are reminding me a lot of the poles that came with my hammock, which I really liked, and it's so easy to set up. So we'll see if this is just as easy. Again, I've never done this before, so we're going to learn together. All right, this feels like the rain fly. So if you knew it was going to rain or you expected it to rain, you could also put on a rain fly. But this part here is the actual Cot Tent. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll it all out. You're going to see that one side has like a zipper on it. That's your door. So that's basically going to be the side that you're going to want to go in and out on. So I'll put that on your side so you can see it. So basically what it says is you just lay the tent out on the cot. So that's step 1. Then you're going to attach it at the 4 corners. Okay, so on the corners here, you're going to see these straps, right? This and this. So basically view it this way. You are going to run this strap underneath of the hammock and then up through this buckle, and then that's what's going to attach it to the cot. So I'm just going to run this up underneath, and I'm just going to tighten it down until it's attached to that corner. And then I'm going to repeat that same process on all 4 corners. So then now we've got all 4 corners attached. That's attaching it to the cot. So now we just need to do our poles. So like normal with their stuff, most everything has a way that it goes. So I'm just kind of letting it form itself into the shape that it wants to be in here, which it looks like is this. But so basically what you end up with is sort of a couple of Ys and then this middle section, which probably actually supports the top of the cot. And then what it says is to put the end of the poles through the grommets. So there's grommets here on each end for the poles. So easy. We're just going to put that one through there. We're going to take this other one and put it through here. We're going to go down here to this end. We're going to push this up. So you can see it starting to take shape right in the frame of a tent. So we're just going to attach these. So I love what they do with their poles. It's very similar to how they do their stuff for the hammock that I have that I love, which is just, it's so simple. It kind of assembles itself, you know? So then in this tent, you're going to notice there are little clips here, right? So we're going to start taking these clips. I'm just going to start attaching them where it makes sense. Okay, and then on the tent, there are some little red loops that I'll show you here in a second. I just attached the one in the back, but there's also one in the front, this red loop here that you can see. And then that's what's going to spread the top part of the tent out. We're going to attach that pole right through there. And then it's become a cot tent, right? And again, you can climb in here. You could tie back the screen here, right, with these toggles. You can zip it down, so you've got a built-in bug net, so you don't have to worry about bugs when you're sleeping. But now you're in a cot. You can make it higher, you can make it lower. But you're in this cot, you're completely secured and away from the bugs. It's actually pretty tall. You could probably sit up in there and change clothes. It might be a little tricky, but it does have plenty of room in there. And then, of course, if it's going to rain, you can just throw this rain fly over the top of it, and then you're waterproof. But like today, it's 90 degrees, it's hot. I'm going to want these open. I'm probably going to sleep in this tonight, but that's it. Again, I wanted to wait to show you guys how easy these were to assemble by unboxing them for the first time in this video. So as you can see, I literally barely read the instructions and I figured it all out in a few minutes and put this whole thing together. But I mean, you've got a super comfortable cot, really easy to assemble, folds down relatively small for a cot and a tent. And then you've got a built-in tent as well. You can throw your sleeping bag in here, a pillow, and you're good to go. So again, just wanted to share this stuff with you. I hope that that's helpful to see this stuff in action, kind of see what it's made of. All right, guys, so as you saw, those were the awesome things from Nightcat. So this company has been around for a really long time. And again, the fact that I've owned their hammock and used it probably 40, 50 nights, there's no rips, there's no tears. The zippers all work great. And I've used it in some pretty extreme temps and extreme weather with no problems. Makes me feel really confident in their stuff. Now, it is less expensive stuff. So that's another benefit, is not only is it less expensive, more on the budget side of things, but at least in my experience, it's been really, really good so far. So So if you're looking for a good budget option that's not just, you know, one of 78 brands that are all the exact same stuff, these guys actually put some R&D into their stuff and make really good budget-minded products. So again, I'll put links to everything in the description below, but I hope that's helpful for you. Also in the description below will be links to all my other social channels, so wherever you want to come hang out, I'd love to have you. There's also a join button below this video, which is just kind of a fun, passive way to support the channel. It also gets you early access to the videos and podcasts that I do every week. I do a couple videos every week, so you get to see them before everybody else. So if that sounds fun, check that out. Then there's a more active way to be involved with the channel, which is the Patreon page. That gives you access to a 24/7 Discord where we all kind of chat about our rigs and our cars and stuff. And then we do a once-a-month Zoom call, and we're also trying to do at least one, maybe 2 trips a year where we meet up in person. So tons of fun to be had there. If you want to be more active with all things overlanding, that's a great place to do it. Also below this video will be a link to my website where I've got funny overlanding camping themed patches and stickers. So check that out if you're into funny dad joke style stickers and patches like "Don't burn your wiener and it's a hot dog," or "I hate people so I camp," or there's ATO merch and stuff down there too. So definitely check that link out if you want anything like that. And then last but not least, there is a link to the Newbie Overlanders Facebook group, which is totally free to join and has a ton of awesome members. If you're looking to learn about overlanding, or if you're tired of the big groups and all the bullying and you want a place that is more community driven, then that may be a good option for you and you should check it out. But again, thanks for watching. Hope that was helpful, and we'll see you next time.